I do hate to interrupt a good conversation, but it is 6:30. And so I'm gonna go ahead and call the meeting to order. It's Wednesday, February 18th. This is the Montpelier-Roxbury Board of School Directors. And the first item on our agenda is public comment. This is a moment for members of the public to share their insights and opinions with the board, and for the board to listen, to hear and be able to use the information in our deliberations, but it is not a moment for the board to engage with the public. We usually start with folks in the room for anybody who wants to provide public comment, and then if there are folks online who would like to provide public comment, we can make that available as well. So long as you raise your hand, our administrators can get so that you can speak and we can see your screen or your face if you'd like to show it to us. Is there anyone in the room who would like to make public comment?
Right now, I am not in as a participant, so can't figure out what's going on.
Okay, we have Chris Parker with their hand raised. And I don't see anyone in the room right there.
Oh,
so is it possible? We're just getting the technology set up. Do you want me to log into Zoom?
It's not, hold on.
Okay.
It's just, I'm in the webinar, but it's not allowing, I usually go right in as a host.
Okay, Anna's here.
Anna, save me.
It's weird.
Yeah. Join. Wait, I may have done it.
Okay, and it looks like we can see you, Chris Parker. So go ahead, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you very much. Hello, thanks for, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I think so. Yes, thank
you.
Okay,
great. On January 21st of this year, I attended the school board meeting virtually and made a public comment. I had reviewed the meeting documents and had questions about slide 31, where it listed a $56,204 decrease in next year's budget under student support, nurse, guidance, social worker, speech, and there were no notes in the notes column. Prior to that meeting, I emailed my building and district administrators to ask about this budget reduction because I wondered if this was a situation that required advocacy for staff or students. I have been a school social worker at UES for 12 years, and I have been a social worker for over 25 years. Advocacy has been a big part of my personal and professional life. I was given very vague responses and told that if any individual's job was going to be impacted, they would be the first to know. I was led to believe that this cost savings included systems changes and efficiencies, essentially. I was hoping to get a bit more information than those email responses by attending the board meeting. I asked my question during public comment, and then Mia Moore brought my question up during the budget presentation to get more information. At that time, Libby's response was, that's just staffing realignment within our system that equates to some savings. Mia Moore then pressed her and references the priorities that the administration and the board have. This is a reference to slides 22 and 23 of that presentation. Slide 22 lists school board focuses: academic achievement for all students, safety, inclusion, and belonging for every member of our community, and commitment to open communication with our community. Slide 23 lists the administration's recommended priorities for this budget, including maintain resources for effective MTSS model and SEL and academics, and protect services dedicated to our most vulnerable children and families. Mia went on to say, so those changes to the budget, my question is, I'd like confirmation that those changes to those line items aren't going to impact any of those priority areas, particularly because we're talking about student support. I just want to make sure. And Libby said the administration does not believe it will. A few days ago, I learned how this $56,000 is actually being saved, and it is by riffing, reduction in force, or cutting the intensive needs social worker position at UES and replacing it with an instructional assistant behavior tech position. Replacing a master's level social worker clinician with an instructional assistant BT, behavior tech, does not show a commitment to valuing those priority areas mentioned above. Additionally, to my knowledge, the SEL team at UES was not involved in the consideration of this decision in any way, shape, or form. There was no opportunity to talk about SEL data, behavior data, or student needs, or to look at how the loss of a social worker on our team will impact our most vulnerable students and families. Since I did not have the opportunity to advocate for this before the decision was made, I'm using this platform to advocate for the importance of this position, and I hope that this cut might be reconsidered. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you. We also received a letter from a teacher that they asked for us to read out loud at public comment. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. This is Dear Montpelier-Roxbury School Board members. I write today as a teacher and taxpayer. I'm unable to attend the school board meeting tonight, but was at the meeting 2 weeks ago when the board discussed possible support for bills 208 and 209. Those are Senate state legislative bills. Immediately, I thought of the Black Lives Matter flag flying over our high school and the efforts in 2017 and 2018 to raise the flag. Raising the flag was an accomplishment, an event, and a promise. The promise was, and remains, to continually center and recenter the humans who are marginalized in our community, to recognize the strong societal forces that make this marginalization invisible, and to make our support for these students and families visible, strong, and durable. To recognize that our support for these humans will change shape and form over time in response to outside forces. To acknowledge that we will need to recommit to this promise over and over. To that end, I urge the MRPS School Board to take any action that results in strong, visible, and durable support for our students and families whose physical well-being, mental health, and access to education is at risk in the current climate. This could include support for these bills and likely includes much more. With appreciation for your service, Sylvia Fagan. And Sylvia, do we have any other folks wanting to make a public comment? Okay. So then we will go on to the next order of business, which is the consent agenda. This is where the board looks at a number of things all at once to help us move through our agenda quickly. And it's usually pretty typical and sometimes it's the same things over and over. Minutes from previous meetings, our payroll, Libby's superintendent report, etc. Although I will take note for those of you who are following along at home, it does include the district calendar for next year. So you can go ahead and download that, print it out, put it on the fridge, whatever you'd like. And if there are any items on the consent agenda that a board member would like to pull for discussion, you may certainly do so. So with that, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move we approve the consent agenda.
Thank you, Jill. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thanks, Lynn. Any discussion? Okay.
I appreciate the superintendent evaluations committee's considerations about our new board members coming and being thoughtful about how to support them coming in.
Yeah. That's with help from the VSBA because they're well practiced at this. So thanks, Brett. Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, moving right along then to the student highlight, which it appears is a presentation from our high school students. Wait a second, that's not a high school student.
26. Just going to set the table here, everyone. Good evening. Jason Gingle, principal, Montpelier High School. Tonight, we're going to present the arts to you. And in a few moments, our fantastic, dedicated, and talented teachers, Jason Miles, Colleen Flanagan, Allie Tarwater, Sadie Jones, and Marin Spillane, and students will speak to their programs and experiences. One takeaway from tonight's presentation is that arts at MHS is more than just a program. Our arts, our offerings, are third spaces where students and staff come together to build community, connections, and a sense of belonging, where students grow their craft and skills, and they literally grow as artists. Last night at the rock band concert, I was not only amazed by the talent, performances, and show, but what truly struck me was the number of students who were new to MHS, joining us not through MSMS, and have found community to thrive in. Students who went to U32, Harwood, or moved to Vermont in the middle of high school have found acceptance. That is what our staff and students are building together and what they'll share with you tonight. And finally, I do not want to miss this opportunity in front of you for you to carefully consider Act 73 and the unintended consequences of the bill on MHS and our programs like this that provide a third space for students and must be protected at all costs. So at this point, who's coming up first?
Theater and the arts, they're used to the applause.
We communicate quietly.
Glenn, just tell me when for Vienna purposes,
I think we can go to the next slide.
I think.
Okay, I'll just read this slide, I suppose. So 248 MHS students are enrolled in at least one art course this school year. And here are the visual arts numbers. In drawing 1, we had 53 students this year. Drawing 2, there are 19. In painting 1, there are 15. In painting 2, these numbers are incorrect because I have more painting 2 students than that. Yeah, there was a lot of add-ons. Ceramics are 36, and advanced art and portfolio, there are 5. And both of the seniors that were in that class, applied and were accepted to visual arts schools.
So say it again, Glenn?
The
Where?
2 seniors that were in the portfolio class applied and were accepted into visual arts schools. These are 2 award-winning pieces of art that were created. Shake Hagopian, when she was a sophomore, won the Congressional Art Award for Best Overall, and that painting was displayed in the Capitol building in DC for a year. And Nico Stonerov, who graduated last year, got a Judge's Choice Award at the same competition. And his work was displayed, I believe, in the State House. There's some of your work, Mars. Would you like to speak?
Yeah. Art has like always been one of the most important aspects of my life. And I would still be pursuing art even if it weren't for MHS, but because of MHS's incredible art department, I've been able to explore a lot of mediums I wouldn't have been able to. Like I've been able to do ceramics and I've been able to do printmaking, which I've really liked. And I don't think I would have explored that at all if it weren't for the very extensive options that we have at MHS for different arts. Also within the art department, I've found a lot of connection with other students and with my teachers and Flan, who has been an incredible mentor. Yeah, and I've also found a different space in the theater department with prop making, lighting design, and lighting programming under the guidance of Maren Spillane, who's been an incredible teacher and has also held our tech crew together through some difficult times.
We can go to the next one, Libby. Sure.
First, let's just say those are awesome. Those are done by Callie. She's awesome. I am a senior at MHS. I was one of the people Flynn was talking about that got accepted into art school because of that portfolio class. I applied to multiple art programs in different schools, and it's kind of a universal experience as an artist. When you tell somebody, I want to be an artist, they ask you, okay, what's your backup plan? Or, you know, that doesn't make a lot of money. I never heard that at MHS. They all supported me because they knew that this is what I love and this is what I have to do, because I just need to pursue it because of my love for it. And the passion that goes into every piece that all of us make in these classes. And at MHS, they don't just kind of avoid talking about the future. They don't just like support me in what I want to do. They hold my hand along the way and they show me how to get into these programs, like the portfolio class. I took it twice. And I made a portfolio that I ended up being really proud of. And instead of being nervous for the future, I'm very hopeful. That is because of the art department at MHS.
Thank you, Haley.
All of the further slides are, yeah, just different students' work. From drawing 2 classes, we do a lot of drawing from observation. And now pick it. Oh, I didn't even have any here working.
No, it was the cover.
I know, I wanted to
Oh,
see.
yeah. No, it wasn't there.
Okay. Got it.
And there's another one of Haley's in her PLS. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you all.
Next. Make sure introduce yourself, Steve.
What's that?
Make sure you introduce yourself, Steve.
Yeah, this is Lucas, Zofia. I'm Jason Miles. I have been back full-time at Montpelier High School teaching tech ed for, gosh, about 4 years. I was over at the middle school before that, the middle school and here. The classes that I currently teach are Woods Design, and those have both levels of kids in them. So that we can try to schedule more kids into the classes. So there's level 1, level 2, with different curriculums in the same class. This year, I just started a manufacturing and entrepreneurship class, which we started first semester. A lot of that we had to set up our company. We've been doing a lot of stuff around business, and now this semester we are doing more stuff around marketing. We've almost earned all of our money back that we had to start with, so it's fully funded by the class. And then I also teach intro to digital media, and what is not up there is I also usually once a year I teach a graphic design class, usually second semester, which is kind of a natural progression from digital media. So those are the classes. These are some of I'll let Zofia talk about kind of the woodworking aspect of it, because she's been in class a couple times now, done some awesome stuff.
All right, so my name is Jafia, as he said. So when you think of like an arts program in high school, you don't usually immediately think of woodworking, but when I got mentioned it my junior year, when I transferred here, I immediately jumped on it because I don't know, it was just such a different thing than theater or painting. Is you get to like work with something like wood and build a bench, or I actually built a birdhouse. And I recently just built a little wooden chair. Very complex, took 2 weeks. Well, only 2 weeks, but like it's such a therapeutic way or class because you're just in that space. You're with other students who are making similar things and you have help from all those students. And one of my favorite things to do in that class is to just sit there and make my things and just listen to music on his radio, consists of country and 80s, which is my thing. And it's just so much fun. And you don't even watch the clock, you just tinker away. And I made a bowl, which I was making it and it flew right at my face. And that's the things that happen in woodworking. You just go with the flow. And it's just a fun class to be in. Other students are doing the same thing. And I have an amazing teacher who's teaching me. And I would definitely take it again if I could. So thank you.
Thank you. This is our website for Montpelier Made, is the name of our manufacturing and entrepreneurship company. So I'm going to actually give you something at the end of this presentation. I hope that you guys can check out our website. The kids designed the whole website. We had a good run right around the holidays, but now we're finding that we need to remarket our business kind of to the greater community. We're actually going on a field trip tomorrow. We're going to hand out letters to local businesses, have them check out what we have to offer. And hopefully we can make some connections that way. Also for these classes, we've always done a ton of outreach with the community. Like we do stuff for Montpelier Live all the time. We've done these structures around the school. Sometimes we do units around that. We'll have an architect come in, a builder, work with all the kids. We did the pizza oven structure. We did the garden shed right behind it. So we're the famous chicken coop outside. That was probably 8 or 10 years ago. So we always try to do that, and the kids love it. Like they love going out into the community, whether it's a flower box or, you know, chairs for a business or whatever it may be. So it's really cool to see them in that environment and actually have something to be invested in and work towards, because they know it's for somebody else and they know that everybody's going to see it. So they've done some really amazing stuff. And these are just some more projects. I don't really have any photography stuff. So Lucas is just going to talk about digital media. We, in my intro to digital media class, we kind of have 2 parts to the class. The first part is like about photography, and then we kind of move into video after that. We've got some really nice equipment, some Sony A6100 cameras. My room is the only room that has workstations in it. So we have access to the full Adobe suite in there. There's 14 workstations. And this time of year is a little bit tough. We went out today and took pictures and did a photo challenge, but it was a little cold out there. But kids really, really love taking pictures, and we take pictures. We also do school events and share those with the yearbook because they're kind of understaffed most years. So we take a lot of pictures for the yearbook, and like graphic design. I don't know if you noticed them, but we do things like the game day posters for games and in Photoshop, Illustrator, all that stuff. So I'll just talk a little bit about digital media and where it led you.
I'm Lucas, and I just want to say this class, taking intro digital media my freshman year, was such a gateway for me because first of all, I got to record all sorts of performances. We did the fall festival, we did their performance there, their community service, and I got to record the performance You're in Town at our school, very flattering name. But I remember being there, taking pictures. I never would have been that interested in getting involved with theater. I mean, it was just so cool. It was so fun to see that. Like behind the camera, it made me want to get on stage. So that's the first thing I really loved. And the second thing was really, I just learned so much more about using cameras. I learned aperture. I learned a lot, believe me. But it gave me so much confidence to continue doing stuff with cameras and continue using technology to make video programs that I started my own filmmaking club at the school. And when I was starting it, I asked Mr. Miles, do you know any good resources for borrowing video cameras? And he suggested Orca Media, and they have hosted all of our meetings since. And the last thing I'll say is I've decided I want to apply for the videography program at CVCC for my senior year. And this class was really just gave me so much. And it really inspired me to continue doing that sort of thing. And I want to be a filmmaker now.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So would love to have you guys stop in anytime. You're welcome to stop in the class, come down and see we have a really nice facility in the wood shop. We have a CNC router. We have a CNC plasma cutting machine, little welding place in the back that Woods 2 kids usually do stuff in. So it's a really cool setup. And I don't think a lot of people sometimes know about it, and you should come take a look sometime. I think you'd enjoy it.
And it doesn't make me nervous at all when I walk in and see the sparks flying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's fine.
Blades.
It's fine.
You're fine, don't worry.
So much fun.
Thanks.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Gal.
Yeah, nice chair now.
Sure.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. I'm Maren Spillane, and I am joined by Natalie and Maya and Lucas again. And we are so excited to tell you a little bit about what we do down in the theater. So these are some stats and some photos from recent plays. Oh gosh, I can't read it. So we just did, maybe some of you saw our production of Legally Blonde last December. So we had students grades 7 through 12. We had 46 students involved on stage and backstage and in the booth, which is wonderful, and honestly didn't feel like 46 students because they were so great. And then She Kills Monsters is the production we're working on now. That's for grades 9 through 12. We have 34 tech and actor students, and they are all doing a great job with a really challenging show. Sorry, I need different glasses. Hadestown. Hadestown was our musical last year. We joined with U32 for that one. That was grades 9 through 12. And we had, I can't read that number, but we had a cast of 50 and a crew of probably 20 between the two schools. And then we did the Brothers Grimm Spectaculathon last spring, again for grades 7 through 12. And that was 35. Thank you, Natalie. And then 12th night was the prior spring, and Urinetown was musical the year before that. So we are trending a bit upwards in our numbers. We have a really, really lovely, vibrant technical theater program, and I rely like immeasurably on all of the wonderful students and their work, and it's a wonderful place for them to just have so much autonomy and practice leadership and creative expression. And I'm really grateful for that. So our tech numbers are growing. And something that I'm really excited about is there has been kind of equal interest in the musical and the non-musical play, both of which I think are really, really valuable theater educational experiences. So that's that slide. So one of the things that I love and just find so much pleasure in every time it happens is how the journey of telling a story through theater brings people together from all walks of life. It's a really equalizing experience. So we might have students who have other hobbies outside of theater, different grades, different educational interests, like completely different personalities, might not be friends outside of the theater. But as soon as we all get into that space, we have one goal and we have this sense of purpose and belonging together. And I experience it as an adult when I act, but I experience it freshly every time we start a new process together. And I've watched a lot of kids come out of their shells and find their voice in that way and connect, and connections are made, I think, that wouldn't be otherwise. And it's kind of magic. I mean, it is magic. I'll just read a couple student quotes. During my time at MHS, the mask theater program wasn't just an extracurricular. It was the center of my high school experience and one of the biggest influences on who I am today. It gave me confidence, community, and a place where I learned how to lead, collaborate, and believe in myself. That is from Anna Blackburn, who graduated last year. She was a wonderful stage manager. Nora McCann says, while I was in middle school, I would go and see all of the shows performed at the high school, and now being in them is the highlight of my school year. It's such a fun experience where you make so many new friends and it helps to build so much confidence. So that's Nora. Nora is a junior this year. Ari says, for me, theater has been a place to not only connect with others and have fun, but provides a space to practice large-scale teamwork as well as practicing personal accountability. Ari is a senior this year. Also, check out that great picture of Natalie up at the top there in the pink boa. All right. Last one. Theater has been a fundamental part of my life since I was 10 years old. When I moved to high school level theater in 7th and 8th grade, I got the chance to meet people in older grades who would become some of my closest friends. I am admittedly a bit of a nerd. I love school and I enjoy having schoolwork, but on the days when I have rehearsal, it always gives me something to look forward to. There's something about that space and the environment that makes me want to come back every day. That's Elena Guadagno. She is a sophomore this year. Also pictured in that little hat, sorry. Maybe before
we watched the video. Do you wanna speak, students? Starting, okay.
So I'm a senior. I just, I love theater so much. I think there's so many different aspects to it. So I'm on tech because people act like you can do so many different things that involve so many different skill sets, and that really gives everyone a place where they feel like they do belong in this space because there's so many options and ways you can come in. I think Marin, Miss Jones, Allie, everyone working on the show have worked really hard to make mask theater a place where like people want to be. They want to come back every day, you know, and like just enjoyable to be there every day. Yeah, I think I played sports throughout all of middle school and my freshman year, and I joined theater sophomore year. And sports has a lot to do with competition, you know, but theater is all about teamwork. And I walk in that space and I know everyone there wants me to succeed and helps me do my best. And in turn, I try to do that for everyone else. And you are given a space where you can succeed, and everyone is working, like Marin said, to create something bigger than yourself. And you're trying to do it for the people there and everyone, the audience, people watching, people involved. It's just like a magical experience that everyone gets to be a part of. And
I'm Maya, and I'm a junior at Montpelier High School. I've been a part of Mask since I was in 7th grade, and I've done every production that was available to me since that. And I just really appreciate having such an amazing program, because I can say without a doubt that theater people are the most well-rounded people I have met. And I think it's because we have that creative and emotional outlet. And I think that allows us to connect deeper with our peers. And just echoing like what Marin said, there's definitely people that I am so unbelievably close with in this program that I probably never would have even talked to if I hadn't been in Mask, which I just really appreciate because they are my closest friends and I love all of them so much. And I love having teachers that are just so excited about what they do as well. And I feel that the most from the arts department side.
All right, still Lucas. I'm a junior. And I want to say that I'll always look back on all these plays so fondly. I mean, being here, doing rehearsals, doing performances is always such a great experience, and especially the performing part. I mean, when we get into that tech week, we're going up there to like 7 or 8 in the afternoon, and then we have to come in, do our shows. That's just so fun because we're all going through the experience together. We're all getting to hang out. Usually you're getting pizza, and it's just so nice. Everyone's so incredible and talented and kind, and I get to spend as much time with them as possible. And I also just love playing characters, so it's been incredible.
Okay, now, all right, we're gonna try to get this to work. So Canva and I are not hanging out well.
And I am playing Warner Huntington III.
I'm Oliver Dennison, and I'm playing Callahan.
My name is Natalie Remick, and I.
Do you mute or do I mute?
I can be.
The much more energetic version of myself.
I walk into that space every day and I know that I'm like meant to be here and like there's a place for me here. It's a place that really fosters like community and teamwork.
I'm going to miss a lot about Mass Theater.
The people. I mean the people.
Probably most of the people.
What advice would you give to students who want to join Mass Theater in the future?
Don't wait. I remember I waited until my sophomore year because I was like, oh, I'll do it next time. But you're gonna want every next time.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Sadie Jones, and I teach vocal music at Montpelier High School.
And I am, again, Maya Kotke's Cummings, and I'm a junior at Montpelier High School.
So when I was trying to think about 3 words to describe vocal music and singing at Montpelier High School, I came up with community, teamwork, and joy. And those words were definitely inspired by students. On Friday, I asked them as our check-in question, I said, what does being in this space, in this department, at this school mean to you? And the majority of the students, they had lovely things to say, but some of the main themes were, I love coming to this space because I know that these people are my team, that they are going to support me, that we are going to do something incredible, and we are going to have a lot of fun while we do it. So I have some quotes from our lovely students. So Opal Ritchie, who is a junior. Yes, Opal Ritchie is a junior, and she said, I really like the arts. They are so fun. I'm so excited to come to school because I can go to choir or any of my art classes. It is never boring. It's challenging, but we support each other, and these classes have helped me grow so much as a person. Art classes at MHS are my home. You can see a ton of pictures all around the perimeter, that's okay, of this quote. And these are from a variety of events that we have. You'll see some fun selfies too. But we take students on lots of field trips as a music department. We go to festivals every year. We have 5 or 6 festivals that we offer. So students prepare auditions. They work really hard inside and outside of school to prepare a song. Then they go and sing in front of a bunch of adult strangers in a room on a Saturday. And sometimes they have to do sight reading. It's very intimidating and scary. And we are so proud of them every time they do it. And we're really excited that we are bringing students to every festival this school year. Ooh. And I'm chaperoning some students next week during break in Providence, Rhode Island at the American Choral Directors Association Festival, which I am so excited that they were accepted into. It is students from all New England, Pennsylvania, Delaware, New York, New Jersey. So it's a large pool of students that were auditioning for this ensemble, and they are going to work with some world-renowned composers and conductors, and they get to sing music that was created specifically for their ensemble. So written, commissioned for them, and their composers will be there. So how cool that we can offer students the opportunity to go sing with 250 other singers from all across the Eastern Seaboard, and premiere music for the whole world to see. It's really fantastic. Take pictures of that. Yeah. Oh, you bet. So here's a video from our New England Music Festival. We can't quite make them out, but I don't care if the train runs late, if the checks don't clear, if the house blows down. I'll be off where the waves run wild, where the seas fall far from this earthbound town, and I'll start to soar. Watch me raise and roar. From Maya, do you want to read your quote?
Sure. It's such a unique learning experience that's different from anyone else. We're learning how to sing, act, draw, but also how to work with other people and be successful in that. I've learned how to take risks, and I've learned the most out of my arts classes as a person, how to be a person and about myself.
Anything else that you want to
add? Yes. Just kind of adding on to what I was saying, I just think, especially being in a choir, has allowed me to successfully work with so many people of such like a diverse background. There's people of all ages in our choir, and we're all genuinely rooting for one another. And I just appreciate that so much. And because if one of us succeeds, we all succeed. And all of us can't succeed if all of us don't succeed. Because we're a group. And also I just feel like this is the only class that I can say that I have where everybody is genuinely friends with each other, because it's just so much easier to make a connection with people that are rooting for you. And I really love that about choir classes at MHS.
And we're lucky. Maya is a really great leader in that group. And we have so many wonderful students, like you said, who just are rooting for each other and show up. I don't think there has been a single class that we've had this year where there has not been laughter and smiling and dancing and shenanigans.
The only class that somebody can sing Defying Gravity at the top of their lungs.
And everybody else
Nobody's
will
judging.
join. Yeah.
Yeah.
The last thing that I'll say about music and singing in particular is that it is really good for the brain and the body. It's a great place for students to come and decompress, but also challenge themselves. It's good for our mind. When you sing in a group of people, your heartbeats sync up, which is a pretty awesome phenomenon and doesn't really happen in a lot of other spaces in the school, just saying. But it is a really special place for them to kind of be present and practice being in touch with their body and their posture and to create something with other people. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh. You know. Hi, everybody. My name is Allie Tarwater. I teach instrumental music here, part-time at the high school and part-time at the middle school. Here at MHS, I do all the instrumental music, band, jazz band, and orchestra. And at MSMS, I do just strings. So I can't limit it to 3 words because I'm a yapper. And I was just, thinking about what the environment that I try to foster and in my personal performance as well, like what those ensembles do for me. And these are, the things that I kind of was brainstorming a little bit. And I think really the one that always gets me is family. I say band family a lot. I have a picture on my desk of my wedding party 17 years ago that every single person in my wedding party, my husband and I were in band with, including we were in band together, my husband. It was even our siblings. We all grew up playing music together in high school and college. And I love that photo so much. And I want these guys to know that they have that too. And it's a really special place to create that connection and community and family. Next month, I'm going to play music at one of my former students' weddings in Virginia. And we were talking on the phone the other day about what she wants me to play. And I'm just sobbing at my desk, like, like you do. But it's something that these relationships stay forever. I call my band director, who is 82 years old, about once every 6 weeks to be like, hey, how you doing? Give me some advice, bud. So hopefully they'll do that someday. Anyway, again, here's some pictures of our awesome kids. It's so much fun. If you come into my classroom at any point, it's so fun. We're doing hard work and we're having fun. Let's go next slide, Libby. This is Vivian Sheldon's essay that she wrote for her quote. I won't read it to you right now, but when I asked Vivian, she's a 9th grader, clarinet player in band. She was like, I couldn't stop writing. Vivian is the kind of person who music has meant so much to her entire life. She is in the Vermont Youth Philharmonic, which meets in Colchester on Sunday afternoons. She is very serious about clarinet. She just made All-State as a freshman. She blew me away with this. And I will read one little part of it. But I asked her, do you have a specific memory? And I'm gonna find it real quick. Oh, I remember this one time where 4 of my favorite people and I were in a practice room. It was a time where none of us had class and we all decided to go hang out in our home base, AKA the band room. We decided on a song to play and we all listened to it before jumping in and playing. It was the best time ever. We laughed when we failed, we cheered when we hit the right notes, and we all got better together, which is what that space is for. Thank you. There's some other quotes from Charlotte Dostie, who's a sophomore, and Phoebe Bakeman, who's also a sophomore in orchestra. Charlotte mentioned our composition program. We have a really robust composition program here, where all of our orchestra students in grades 5 through 12 compose a piece of original music. Our middle schoolers write for our high school orchestra students to perform their pieces, and the high school students write for professional musicians that we hire. And we work with professional composer Eric Nielsen, who is very prolific in Vermont. And every kid gets to work on their own original piece of music. It's a really special program that truly does not exist in other schools. I'm very grateful that I walked into this job 3 years ago and Hillary Goldblatt said, here you go. You've got a composer to work with, and these kids are well versed in it, and it has been amazing. Our students in band start that in 9th grade, so they don't get that in middle school, but when they start it in 9th grade, it is amazing every year, the things they create. I think Charlotte's pieces have been chosen every year since has been in 5th grade, which is really cool. She is extremely talented at composition. And then Phoebe, just a quick summary. One thing that I've known Phoebe since 8th grade, and she used to sit in the very back of the violins and play so quietly. And I was always like, I can hear that, and I can hear that sound in you. Bring it out, Phoebe. And then when she came to high school and started playing viola, the world opened up to her. And now she says in her quote, she's sitting front and center and playing as loud as she possibly can, which I love about Phoebe so much. I think before we go on, I'll let you guys talk, and then I'll say a little bit more.
Sure. Just I just love that it's such challenging work as well. I perform with the MHS Jazz Band, and it really makes students show up. Like, we're there at 7 a.m. to rehearse these pieces that we chose to be a part of too. And it's just so much fun, and it gives us permission to play, but also gives us so many vital skills, like being a hard worker and being a team player, that even if we don't end up going into music, we will keep with us throughout our whole lives. And I'm really grateful for that.
I'm Jofia, as you know, violinist in the orchestra. And so I transferred here my junior year, 2nd semester. I'm a senior now. And this whole school was just new to me. And I remember during my tour here, in the beginning, the first person who was smiling and gave me a big hug was Allie. And I don't know, this class just gave me so much. Like, I walk in every day, and the whole place is just like a bomb blew up because the band showed up. But like, we're all there smiling, and we're setting up the whole thing together. And that's what it all kind of is, a community. And it doesn't really matter how we sound, even though I think we're pretty good. We're playing all these concertos and stuff, but like, we're just playing together as a big freaking group of different people from different backgrounds. And we're just all playing, making everyone smile. And even on the days when we're kind of like tired and we're just playing this music, Vandal.
Oh, Vandal.
We can play that for hours. And we're just having a fun time, And I think that's what music is, like just having fun, smiling, laughing, and just being our actual selves and not worrying what the next class is or what homework we have that night. Just being in the moment and playing music. That's what it is to me. Just having fun. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I wanted to just put out a couple of these photos. So last night we had our rock and jazz band showcase up at the hub, which was pretty amazing. In band class right now, we have I took my numbers off, I'm sorry, so I'll tell you real quick, but in band class right now we have 32 students enrolled. And we do a breakout bands unit in this kind of transition between our December concert, or November this past year, and our spring concert. It's a long stretch. And so we do our composition program and this breakout bands unit in band, where we form a bunch of rock bands. So we had 14-ish, I think 14 rock bands last night, I can't remember. And jazz band also performed. And it's really, it's a little chaotic. I've said many times, if Mr. Gingold walked in the room right now, he'd be like, what is going on in here? But it has been so rewarding to watch them figure it out. This is a unit where I can say, choose a song with your bandmates and find the charts, find the horn parts, arrange the horn parts, do the transcriptions if you want to, if you don't want to buy it, or send me a link and I'll buy it for you. It has been so rewarding to watch them go into a practice room and figure out how to arrange this. Like, they're in their own, like a garage band essentially, right? A lot of them don't have these instruments at home, so they use our drum kits, our guitars, our basses, or whatever they're playing, their horns still. Some, we had a group with playing their traditional concert band instruments also, in addition to the rock band instruments. It gives them the opportunity to be really creative in how they approach a song, as opposed to sitting there with a piece of sheet music in front of them, which I also love that type of creation. But I really want to push them with this unit into getting outside of that box a little bit and seeing that there are other ways to make music, especially if you're a traditional concert band performer, or Lindsay Sterling and her electric violin.
I play a song in roots,
Yeah. So that the bottom right was Case Finney, and as one of his bands. They played Melissa by the Allman Brothers. Their band name was the Walnut Brothers. There were some iconic band names last night. Creedence Clearwater Revival was Alley Tarwater Revival. So there was a good one. Couch was Recliner. Yeah. And this is just a couple more photos and quotes from Dylan and Gideon, who are both sophomores in band. It really is like the things that we do in the music room it's all about community. It's all about creativity. It's all about pushing kids outside of their comfort zone. It is so scary to perform, and putting yourself on the stage, no matter who's in front of you, even if it's people like you guys most of you are parents who are in the audience to root for your kid, it's still scary for them and still scary for me too. But we talk a lot about nobody in the audience wants you to fail. Everybody wants to see you succeed. And we're going to work together to get you to that point where you're not getting on stage and failing, but you can recover when something goes wrong. We had some moments, but they recovered, and it was the best. And I don't know, that was one of the things last night that really I took away, was like so proud of you guys being able to like snap right back into it. Anywho, I really think that community aspect is so important to our overall school and to our music program in general. And then if you want to see it, there's one little clip of our Red Clay Jazz Band, who I'm sorry they weren't here. One thing I'll say just before I go, I just remembered that I meant to say to Suze, we're coming up here. Obviously, you saw Maya a bunch up here tonight, saw Sophia up a bunch last night, and Isla is in the theater program and the vocal program. Zoe is a beautiful artist whose art you saw earlier in the evening. One thing I really love about this school is that we give kids the opportunity to be in multiple art, to explore multiple arts in their time here. It's really special. And I think like Maya pushing herself out of her comfort zone to sing jazz this year it's making you a better improviser. It's making you a better riffer. She can use those things when she performs in musical theater. Jofia, coming to the rock band concert last night might be like, oh, maybe I'll pick up that electric violin again. I love that our students are so multi-talented and are not scared to explore those different avenues. When I was in school, you were a band kid, you were a choir kid, you were a basketball player. I didn't have this luxury, and I wish so much that I've been able to be in choir. I wish so much that I've been able to be in visual arts. And so I really, really love that about our school and our community. Thank you guys.
Great.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you, everyone. My apologies, Tom Allen, you got to follow that. Thank you. Come on up. Thanks again, everybody, for sharing all of that with us. Our next item on the agenda is the recommendations for capital projects. I'm actually going to kick it to Tim first to give a little bit of an overview, and then we can have
Tom and Libby answer questions about the projects themselves.
Thank you, Mia. So the this project, which has been a long time in the making and a long time in the conversation, I think really excited to see all the work that the administration's been doing on it, presented to us at our operations committee this past week. And I think right now we're ready to move forward with a decision on the work that they've done. So sent around a memo earlier, just kind of reminding everybody where we've been on this project, starting from last summer when we seeded the capital fund with a significant amount of money in preparation for this work. Tom and team have whittled down the many options that they've presented to us at various times to a set of 95 windows, 74 at UES, which are the inner courtyard where the youngsters typically go to recess, and then 21 egress windows on the first level of MSMS that in different weather conditions may or may not open, depending what the temperature and humidity are outside. So all very important projects and as folks who've been on the board for a long time know, have been on the list for years, it seems like. So great that we're moving forward. So the couple things I think to flag are, Tom and team brought on Andrew LaRosa to help with the bid process. Spent a long time talking about what type of approach to take, a design bid build or a construction management contract. There's background in the materials on both of them. I think very appropriately chose the construction management approach so that we could have a contractor help us with the project, starting now and going through construction. They've done a bid process that included pre-qualifying bidders, whittling it down from 5 to 3, and then you have the 3 bids in the materials that were presented. Their recommendation, which the operations committee heard and all support, is to go forward with the low bidder, a firm that's capable of accomplishing this work and that's doing it at an appropriate cost. So I think, I don't know, I think I'd probably kick it over to Tom and Libby to talk more about questions, but at least I think I could speak for folks on the operations committee. We kind of poked and prodded at the project throughout the past few months, but particularly in this last meeting. I think all questions have been answered to our satisfaction. And so the recommendation that we would make is to approve this project, the Windows project as we describe it, the 95 windows, and to award the contract to Breadloaf based on the cost estimates and the fees that are in the materials. All in, current estimates are about 750 to 800,000 for this scope of work. If we want to do more, we would come back. That's not in the scope of work, but that certainly is an option if depending on how this all goes. And I think the important thing is to allow Tom and team to get moving on this pretty much immediately after we hopefully have a successful vote on town meeting day. So all in, Tom, you can correct me where I went wrong, but that's sort of where we are on it. And I think we're ready for action tonight if the board so desires.
We'll just open up to questions from board members for either members of the committee or Tom and Libby.
No, I just know that back on October the 15th, I believe we did have options. We were trying to give everybody to have a choice, and we were trying to zero in on option 3. And one of the things that we were trying to do is just really sharpen our pencil here to figure out what those costs that we put in that were. And we've pretty much whittled it down to knowing that one of the other cost factors on there was the asbestos removal at Union Elementary School. And after the testing came back, we found that the lead levels and the asbestos, there wasn't any in the windows. So that's great news. And knowing that was the big chunk of the project was the 74 windows there, we're going to be able to just basically just take them right out of the with a very slight bit of just knowing that it's lead and it's going to go to a landfill that accepts it. I know we had 100K on that, and that was, but I really feel that cost could go up at Main Street Middle School because that's where we found the asbestos in all the caulking. And I would imagine as we go more into the bigger window next year of replacing the windows, we're probably going to see that jump up a little bit there because of the idea that we're going to be doing more windows at Main Street Middle School than UES. So that number may just be pretty close to that, but it's basically right now it's like 25K just to get rid of all that asbestos in that very bottom part at Main Street Middle School for the abatement. So, but other than that, we're just going to try to zero in on, you know, getting the measurements of the windows, wanting to be able to order the windows. And I measured with a team from Red Loaf on Monday at UES. We got all those windows measured, and we're doing Main Street Middle Schools tomorrow afternoon. So they'll have all the numbers. So all we're waiting for is a thumbs up, basically, so we can go ahead and order that. Along with the other part of it was we also talked about putting some money into the Main Street Middle School playground, which that equipment will take a little bit of time to order too, to make sure it's here. And if we can make sure we put that order in too, that would be the next thing to move forward for that for summer work. So.
I just have a couple of questions. The first is, I mean, certainly appreciate going with the lower bidder, to save the district some money. But Tim, you mentioned, and maybe Tom, you can answer this, that you feel confident that they can complete the work. If you can just give us a couple of examples of what is backing up that confidence.
Well, what it was is they kind of came in very aggressive, and they came out and admitted that they've done a lot of work on the Route 7 corridor. They do a lot with Middlebury College, Middlebury High School. I talked to the athletic director, the facilities director there, and they've done a bunch of work for them in the past. I just think they've kind of ventured over here. They were actually doing some work in Barrie at the Vermont History Museum. And I was like, Red Loaf, I haven't seen them over in this area. And they do a lot in Burlington too. So they're kind of in our backyard right now doing some work. And I think they're just trying to get a little bit of a foothold here, possibly in this area. And, you know, it's just, I think they were very super aggressive for it. And it might just be a perfect project for them to kind of, you know, dip their toe a little bit more in the Montpelier area. I kind of see that's kind of the way they were talking to me. So, yeah.
Great.
And Tom, you also said, I think you just said this, but the work that they're doing in Barrie is also with windows, right?
No, actually, they said it was the brickwork. I clarified with that when I was talking with them on the other day, because I was wondering too, because it was just completely all, it was like the castle part of the historic museum, and it was like it's hard to tell because it was completely plasticed up. I didn't know if they were doing windows there. So, but they have done windows in the past in different projects and stuff. So, yeah.
And then I saw the note about waiting until after town meeting day to make sure the budget passes before actually really getting started. And I realize we're only a couple of weeks away, so I guess it's not that big of a deal, but I'm just curious why we would need to wait. I mean, we put the money into the capital plan already that we would be spending on this, so it's not beholden to the budget. So we could just.
I think it was more of a comfort factor for all you. Just knowing that if there was any issues we felt that we'd have to kind of pull back or anything like that. But our biggest thing is just getting the pellet and the Marvin windows. We've apple to apple, make sure that they were the same. And now we're just making sure we get the numbers and all the features match. And that way there we can say, okay, we have this, and then be able to order them that day after we know that we have a budget and everyone feels comfortable. Because we can basically even say that we're moving ahead with the project, but our order would go in the day after. That would be the plan. Okay. So, yeah.
There's an aspect of this that's like putting in motion the $3,000 pre-construction services tonight.
Yes, our vote would be to approve hiring Red Loaf.
Oh, okay.
I don't think the motion would say thou shalt not move until after the budget. I think it was, as Tom said, more,
unless somebody phrases it that way.
Right.
I think it was just more that is sort of a significant step once we go forward with, you know, a window purchase. And so just as they've got enough on their plates measuring and doing that pre-construction work in the next 2 weeks, that it just seemed, like I said, made me feel comfortable, you know.
Sure. So why don't we have a motion? And then we can discuss the motion if we need to. Go for it.
I move that we approve the Windows project as described, and award the contract to Red Loaf based on the cost estimates and fees described in the beautifully drafted memo that Tim sent around.
I'll second that.
Second, so motion from Scott, second from Jill. Any discussion on that motion?
I just wanna add, my appreciation for Tom, and Andrew and Tim, and others who have put a lot of thought into this process, and made it easy for us.
You're here. Yeah, no, here, likewise. I'm excited to see this project get going.
You finally get to vote on it on your
Yeah.
last meeting, Jim. Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Great. So then next on our agenda is discussion of S-209 and so Senate Bill 209 and House Bill 842. We'll take these separately because they are separate issues. Just as a quick reminder for folks, at the last board meeting, we discussed Senate Bill 208 and Senate Bill 209, just to see, the first question being, should the board take up a position on either of these, both of these, et cetera? And at the time, we believed that 209 was more in the purview of the board, but we did not make a final decision about what position we would take on that one. The general consensus was that Senate Bill 208 was not so much in the purview of the board. So that's where things stand right now. We have not yet discussed House Bill 842. That's the current status. And I would like to see the board, I'll just keep talking. I would like to see the board support S-209, given that the increased activity of federal agents, specifically targeting BIPOC folks for removal from their homes and communities is happening in our country. And it's causing very real anxiety and fear for some folks in our communities. And as Libby and the rest of our administrative team said so eloquently in their email to the community earlier this month, every child in our district has a right to an education. And we are committed to supporting our students' well-being. And we certainly have clear protocols in place in our schools, and I have no doubt about our staff's commitment to using them if necessary. And if there's anything that we can do as a board to help provide further protection for students and staff, I'd really like to see us do it. This bill S-209 would add schools to that list of sensitive areas where civil arrests are not permitted, including traveling to and from those sensitive areas. As of Friday, when I last checked, it had passed the Senate and was on its way to the House. So there's still
Both 208 and 209?
I had only checked in on 209, but I believe 208 also passed the Senate. So I would like to see us support it.
I agree. I also want to point out that we've received a lot of feedback from staff, teachers, and people that are part of the school system in support of 208 as well. And I want to verbalize that and bring forward that concern and that endorsement of that bill. I don't know whether or not we should as well, or if our letter of support of 209 could also include that is the feedback that we're getting from our community, our school community, maybe not the broader community. I'm not sure exactly, but it's definitely heard loud and clear that the teachers and staff in the school buildings are for both of those bills.
Thank you, Rhett. I agree. I voiced that last meeting and I haven't changed my mind. In fact, I'm probably even more in favor of both supporting 208 and 209. The overwhelming feedback that we've gotten is, like Rhett pointed out, in favor of us vocally supporting both of those. In fact, I don't think I haven't seen a single correspondence suggesting that we don't. So just wanted to add to what Red was saying. Thank you.
Casey? I'll just add that what passed out of the Senate, the language is different than what was linked in the agenda. And I think it addressed a lot of the points that we were talking about last time. They
Oh,
got
thank you.
managed.
And with
Um,
Bill.
S209.
Any further discussion on? Why don't we take them separately? S209.
That's what I was one with schools, right?
That's the one that adds schools to the list of sensitive areas.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we publicly support that.
I'll second that. Second. Any further discussion?
My own, I think I asked this last week, but just clarification of what, when we say support, do we need to be a little bit more clear in what we mean by support? Like, are we as a board writing a letter? Like, yeah, I'm just curious what that means to be in support of. Or just are we making a statement by having
Right.
a bike on
Right.
the record in a meeting?
Right. I think, I mean, that's certainly, that's a good question. I see it as, we have made comment on legislation as a, when it is germane to educational issues. And I see it as we send a letter to our representatives, the members of the committee that it's sitting in, and, it's just an official, small piece of advocacy on in favor of this. That's what I would imagine. I don't know that it would go further than that. I remember Sam at the last meeting saying, if we do this, then let's make sure the community knows about it. So perhaps that's, a post on Front Porch Forum saying the school board supported this, or some other way of informing the community.
Thank you.
I'm open to other ideas though.
Yeah.
That's just what I was envisioning.
I think when we spoke about this at the last meeting, we were checking with our local law enforcement to make sure they didn't have any strenuous objections.
That was on 208.
Okay.
Yeah, it was on the civil arrest one, and I talked to Chief Nordenson, and he said that has no bearing on the PD whatsoever.
Okay.
Thank you, Libby.
Any other discussion? Make sure I look both ways. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, so then before we move to House Bill 842, let's, we have some people maybe wanting to revisit the question of supporting 208, the one which is in summary is requiring identification for anyone trying to do law enforcement, including not wearing masks.
We were emailed by a group of educators, and then a second group sort of added on, and one thing that really struck me is how they pointed out that their job doesn't end at the, I can't remember the exact wording, I'm trying to find it, but at the edge of the school grounds, right? That if they know of danger off school grounds, that they are legally required to report it, right? And that they see this bill in the same light. And so I agree with that perspective that, although S208 isn't explicitly about schools, it does impact our school community. And I would be in favor of voicing our support for S208 as well as 209.
Thanks, Scott. Any other thoughts?
I mean, as a private citizen, I enthusiastically support it. I'm just struggling to see what the role of the board is, and also like, I get the point that the teachers made, but if a student is the subject of a law enforcement action outside of the school, what legal duty is there to, I mean, you know, it's. I mean, I'm slightly more comfortable hearing that it doesn't affect the, you know, the police are on board. It just feels out of our bailiwick.
Feels what?
It feels out of our bailiwick. It just feels, you know, there's a million, you know, social and other policies that we could argue benefits students outside of the classroom. I'm not sure that it's the purview of the board to get in that space when when I'm just not sure I'm just not sure it's our job. I mean, there's 1,000 bills on, you know, mental health services, mental health spending I'd love to comment on. There's a bunch of bills on, you know, basic safety net programs. There's bills on the way custody laws are handled. I mean, all of these things affect our students out of class. We could have a role in all of them. I'm sure we all have opinions. I just am not sure that's what we are here to do.
I think I agree with Jim. And I mean, in my own personal life, yeah, this is a no-brainer, but it doesn't really connect with the school district. I'm not seeing it. So yeah, if we comment on this, I mean, we would be commenting on hundreds of bills every year.
Tim?
Same.
Okay. I do really appreciate the discussion. I think, and this is fairly new to us as a board, getting involved in legislation. And so it's a little bit about figuring it out as we go and setting parameters for ourselves, which I think are important for both transparency and ensuring that we remain focused on what's best for students. So thank you, everyone, for the discussion. I think we'll move on then to H 842. This one came to us through the VSBA, the Vermont School Board Association. They are asking for us to advocate for its passage. Again, over summary, for those who haven't read through the whole bill, watching from home, it would allow more flexibility in negotiating health insurance costs and provide a few more other sort of practical, very detailed, like in the weeds ways of providing some health insurance savings, which, as the VSBA notes, and as we have also experienced when setting budgets, are a very large cost driver for schools. So that's the summary of the bill and the premise behind the SBA getting behind it and asking for our support of the bill. And so before doing so, which any one of us could certainly, for any one of these, certainly as a individual, send a note to our representatives. But this is one where, again, we could speak as a full board if we wanted to take up this issue.
I'm interested in supporting it if it's design. I haven't read through all of it yet, but it appears the design is to sort of cap some of the costs for health benefit plans and to also sort of give a little bit more permission and cover for the Public School Employee Health Benefits Commission to negotiate. I was concerned it was gonna start to sort of break that apart, and put it back on local districts again, but that's not at all what this is advocating for, so.
Right.
It seems like worth trying, considering the huge impact that health insurance, and healthcare costs are on our school budgets, so I'm supportive of it.
And just to confirm, it's addressing the negotiation that happens for school employees. Does it go beyond that? I couldn't tell. Okay. Yeah, it's specifically for school employees. Okay. So first question being, does this make sense for the board to weigh in on? We've got Jill saying yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's, I mean, health insurance is a big deal for teachers and it affects.
Yeah.
What we do.
Is there anyone who thinks we should not take it up?
I think it's fine. Is there anyone that could walk through it? I'm not sure I understand it. And I'd be curious what the position of like the interest groups are on it.
So the big points are currently the negotiation for healthcare, the arbitrator, which it always goes to arbitration, has to pick all or nothing. So it's either all of the union's proposals or all of the Vermont School Boards Association's proposals.
Okay.
It doesn't look at, currently, they don't look at any other comparisons. So this bill allows the arbitrator to pick and choose parts of each party's plans or go with none of them and build something unique. It also allows them to do cost comparisons with other health care plans in the state and with Vermont.
Visit? Oh, no. Health Connect?
Health Connect,
I think that's
right. It structures the commission differently.
So the stuff about the commission isn't to do with the arbitration. The commission is doing something different.
The commission is the negotiating force. So it has different, it includes different membership for that group who is negotiating.
Okay.
And it does also try to cap healthcare costs. So it's the single bill that I've seen so far in the that's in the legislature. And those more in tune with the legislature may differ with this opinion, but it's the lone bill that I've seen that actually addresses a cost driver. Not just trying to cap spending or not just having hopeful plans that a redistricting might save money, or it's the lone thing that could actually cap or address a very big cost driver.
Libby, can I say, when you say cap costs, what is that? Like, what does that mean? Does that mean that those costs then are borne by the employees or like when, yeah, I don't know the process. I'm curious what happens to the costs once they hit the cap.
I can just read you I don't know if this will answer your question, but just to read you the sentence from the bill, this
Yeah.
bill also proposes to place a cap on the actuarial value of health benefit plans and to include a list of factors for the commission's consideration in making its determinations. So I think that just means it's gonna tell the insurance company what they can actually, like, cap what they can say the plan is gonna cost. That's how I interpret that, but I could be wrong.
There's also a line about capping the actual value of the plans at 88%, which is more similar to state employees. Currently, the teacher's health plan is, I forget what the terminology is for it, but it's very high actuarial value, which means it's like the person who is getting the health insurance is paying very little. And that's because teachers' plans usually have health reimbursement arrangements. So it's like when they go to see a provider, they don't pay anything out of, like, no copay. So that's my layman understanding of insurance in this case.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, where are the groups on this? Like, are different groups supportive, oppositional?
The V's are all supportive of it.
These, oh, like the teachers, are they supportive too?
I don't know what the NEA is or not.
I think I'd just be curious to understand that before kind of addressing this, just like what the lay of the land is.
So do we have other thoughts on whether or not the board should weigh in?
Should we know where is it still with the house right now?
Yeah, we got an action alert from the VSBA earlier today.
I think while you're looking at that, it's also important to note they're not negotiating again until FY 28. So this bill wouldn't go into effect until FY 29.
I don't think they said in their email if it's in the
Still in both. It's being said. Both the House and Senate are actively considering versions.
of,
Yeah.
And so I think they are, and it doesn't say whether or not they're in committee or on the floor right now with the bill. For me, knowing that the Vermont School Board Association and Superintendent's Association and Principals Association is in favor of this and advocating pretty strongly and asking for our support in it is a big motivator. Especially because we are not going to see, without doing anything, we're not going to see health insurance rates go in the other direction. And as we continue to look down further into the future on trying to set budgets that maintain the robust programming of examples of which we saw tonight, it feels like if there's anything we can do to loosen the reins on that health insurance has on us, it would, we should do it. So that we don't have to start cutting from other things in order to preserve health insurance.
I agree, and also VASBO is in support of this, so that's quite a few Vs. I think the NEA is very unlikely to support it. But you know, I think if boards are saying like, hey, like state, do something about healthcare, and then the state is looking to do something about healthcare, you know, you kind of have to support. So that's where I land.
Yeah, no, I think I'm in a similar spot. It would be great to hear what the NA's position is, but that's the pretty impressive lineup, and we definitely have a good call across. Yeah, and that presentation earlier was, I mean, I was blown away by it, and for someone who did a lot of art in high school and had a high school that had a chunky budget, so I could, you know, spray a couple $100s of oil paint on a canvas and have fun with it. I know that when times get tough, those are the programs that get the most pressure first. And yeah, we cannot continue to have the skyrocketing healthcare costs we are with other pressures and expect to give students the education and experiences they deserve. So yeah, let's do something.
I'm not convinced that with all of the other advocacy going on, that our voice is really that necessary. And it sounds like, at least in the very basic lay sort of understanding, what it's at its core is saying shifting more of the cost of health insurance to the employees, which is not really dealing with the cost of health insurance. It's just shifting the cost of health insurance. And again, I certainly don't understand the legislature and the legislative intent, but that's at least what I've heard in what was described to me before. I don't think we need to support it and, you know, maybe damage relationship with our employees unnecessarily.
Yeah, I think for my, I'm not in a position to support or oppose it at this time. I don't think.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, I
Jess.
can't hear you.
Loud.
Sorry, I'm not in a position to support or oppose it at this time. I don't think I know enough about what it'll actually do. And to Scott's point, you know, if it's not really addressing healthcare costs, it's just shifting them. I think, you know, if that would be the case, I think it might be useful to see this in context of a broader conversation about comp. You know, it's not just picking at one issue in isolation. So I'm not educated enough to have any this at this point.
Any other thoughts? Is there anyone who would like to make a motion? Oh, Casey, were you about to say something?
Well, I
We
was
don't
just
have to
gonna,
make a motion.
no motion yet. I was just gonna say that I think there's two parts to this, right? There's the how the costs are allocated among who's paying for it, and then there's the arbitration component, which does have a direct impact on us. And I think I'm hearing general support for, you know, do what we can to curb healthcare costs and give us the ability to have some control within that realm for what we need to do. And I wonder if there's an option of like coming out in support of those activities, even if it isn't full support of all the language in this bill.
I think that's also, because I think I very much understand Scott's point, but I also know that, you know, when you have an all or nothing arbitration situation, that ability to, you know, find a more cost-effective compromise is limited. And that seems like something that should be addressed.
That's the biggest part of this bill. That's the biggest problem right now. The negotiations is how the arbitration has to be decided and that they can't look at other factors.
I mean, but I think, you know, Tim and Scott's points are fair, especially, you know, Tim just not feeling comfortable with the bill, because I don't think any of us have the time to know.
Well, we could do the same thing we did last time and bring it back up in a future meeting. The legislative session will still be continuing in early March. To give members a chance to learn a little bit more and maybe get a little bit more context on the pieces that we have questions about. Sounds good. Okay. Right then. Our next item on the agenda is policy monitoring. We have two policies here that we're receiving and approving monitoring reports for. C11, student freedom of expression in school sponsored media, and C14, section 405 and ADA grievance protocol.
504.
Thank you. 504. So we usually take these as a package, but again, if any board member wants to pull one off for discussion, that is absolutely fine. So is there a motion to approve the monitoring reports for C11 and C14?
I'll move.
You're shaking your head, but you gotta speak.
Yeah, we need to hear you.
Yes, I move that we approve the policy monitoring reports for C11 and C14.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Great. And any discussion? All right, all those in favor? Any opposed? Okay. Next item on the agenda are the first readings for new policies or revised policies that maybe we've previously had on the books, but we need to update. C6, participation of home study students. C2, student alcohol and drugs. And B3, alcohol and drug-free workplace.
Anything from the policy committee of note on these?
No, they're required.
They're required, there's not much
And there's not
to
much,
them.
there's
so
not much to them, right?
We'll
There's no,
probably warn them as approving the policy next time.
there are no significant changes either from what we had.
Yeah.
It's just,
Language.
All right.
Just to recognize Rhett's motion on all these policies lately. He's been really dogging this and making that effort, and it's a lot, and I really appreciate it. So thank you, Rhett.
Thanks, Brett. All right, we don't need to do any motions. They're just on the agenda to get in front of us. And as Libby said, we'll probably just warn them in time for the next meeting, in which case that they will be in the consent agenda and we will pass them when we pass the consent agenda. All right.
I'll also say in terms of the policy committee, we'll be losing 2 of our policy committee members. And so we're waiting to see how our breakdown into how our committees, kind of
Get
play out
reorganized.
when we reconvene as a full board again after we no longer have our current board members.
If you lose a lot, doesn't that mean you get like a high draft pick?
I think we do. I think we got a pretty good draft pick.
No, if you lose, I think if you lose the most experienced board members, you get a low draft.
Yeah, they gotta do something about the salary cap for board stipends. That's really what's out of control. Are we needing to go into executive session?
I don't remember why that's in there. We certainly can for negotiations, but
I think we only need to do it if we need to do it. I think that's there just in case we need to do it.
I think it was.
That's why it
too.
says potential.
I think it was too, yeah.
So I'm just looking to my negotiations team to see if we actually need to go into executive session.
I don't think we have much to report. I mean,
We could do it quickly.
we do it quickly.
Okay.
Could we do it in here, pretend no one is?
I can't hear you.
In this room and pretend that it's private.
We do, I know, before we go into executive session, though, we have a little something. Because, as Rhett alluded to, we're losing 3 folks.
Yeah.
And we just wanted to take a moment to say thank you so much to Lynn and Jill and Jim for all of your service. Lynn, such deep appreciation to you for all of your contributions in committees and full board meetings. You've brought very important insights, and not just the insights of those of a non-caregiver population, but even beyond that. You've really been a very strong voice on accountability in our equity work, which I really appreciate. So thank you so much for that, Lynn. We have a little gift card, but we also have some cupcakes. Oh, that's sweet. There. And I want to say to Jill, really want to thank you for bringing empathy and compassion to the moments when we really needed to make hard decisions. And your words carried weight because you often chose very strategic moments to speak. And I also wanted to say thank you very much for serving as vice chair for this last year. It's been really great to have your partnership. Beautiful. And Jim, you led the district through many different transitions and critical moments. So many, from the decision to merge, to hiring Libby, to the hard work of socializing the merger and bringing a brand new culture into this, having being one district. Difficult funding decisions, countless hours in negotiations with our staff, and without a doubt, throughout it all, you remained very clear about what the big picture is, which is what is best for our students. And we just really want to say thank you for all of that. Not just the years of service, but your steadfastness. It's made a big impact on this district.
Yeah, no, thank you. It's been an honor to serve this community and serve this board and serve this administration and serve the kids. We have a wonderful community, and I trust in all of you to continue the amazing work. Thank you.
I have
well,
something
we
to
don't
say too, if I may.
Yes, yes.
I want you all to know how much I have appreciated working with all of you. Each of you comes with your own unique combination of skills and interests that contribute to the functioning of the board. Mia, your level-headedness, warmth, and organizational skills are amazing. Jim, you've worked tirelessly representing us. Whoops, sorry. Jim, you've brought the long-term wisdom of many years of service and the perspective to the decisions that have to be made. Jill, you've worked tirelessly representing us on the Career Center Board. You keep our policies on track and bring warmth and compassion to the issues. Tim, your knowledge of finance, easygoing manner, and calm approach to issues have been much appreciated. Rhett, your commitment to the Roxbury community has been impressive. It's been a lot of hard work and the juggling of many needs and points of view. Casey, although you're new to the board, you fit right in. Your thoughtful comments and calm manner help us all move smoothly through difficult times. Jake, your measured thinking has kept us from making hasty decisions, and your help navigates the ins and outs of school functioning issues. And the ins and outs of school functioning issues has been extremely helpful. Scott, your persistence in getting the facts about what we are discussing has been helpful, and I really appreciate your sense of humor. To the student reps, it's been great to have you here each meeting to be able to provide the board with student perspective on issues we're addressing, especially when they pertain to students' issues such as cell phone use during the school day. And last but not least, Libby, your untiring work with the legislature around school consolidation and funding has been impressive. Your presentations to the board have been thoughtful and helpful. I wish you all the best of luck going forward with difficult decisions that will have to be addressed regarding funding the education of our children, or in my case, grandchildren. Thank you.
I'll just quickly say I did not prepare anything. I've been on the board for 6 years. It feels like it's been really quick in some ways, and I feel like I'm kind of, maybe in the future I'll come back on here when I have a little more mental capacity. But at this time, 6 years ago, we were getting ready to go on February break, and this weird thing called coronavirus was like hanging out there in the universe, and it was sort of this joke. And when we came back for our very first board meeting in March of 2020, we had to decide to close the school for 2 whole weeks. And it felt absolutely insane after having just gone on school break for a week and a half to close school. And little did we know what was coming. And so that was like our first foray into serving on the board, and went through the school resource officer conversations, the conversations about Roxbury Village School. It's been really an honor, and I've learned so much from everybody who served on the board. There's just been so many of us over the years, and it's just, I feel really fortunate. Similar to when you say you work at the tax department and people go, oh, I know, it's actually a really lovely place. It's like, thank you so much for serving on the school board. And truly, like, I feel really fortunate to have had this opportunity. It has not been a burden. It's been like sort of perspective changing, and I'm just really grateful to all of you, and grateful to all of you who are continuing to hang in there, and really excited to see the new faces come on. And yeah, Mia and Libby, I'm gonna start crying. So yeah, you really have been 2 amazing leaders for this district. So it's been an honor to watch. Thank you. Thank you. And without cupcake and flowers, I mean, I'm good.
Flowers, and now
Executive.
executive session. But wanted to make sure to do that in public session, not wait until we were in executive session. Thank you everyone for all those years. Strong work. And so now moving into executive session, does anybody else have it in front of them? Can provide the first motion?
I move to find that premature general public knowledge regarding the board's strategy regarding labor relations agreements with employees would clearly place the board at a substantial disadvantage because the board risks disclosing its negotiation strategy if it discusses the proposed contract terms in public.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thanks, Lynn. Any discussion about that motion? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Aye, okay. And then the second motion.
Can read it.
Yeah.
I move to enter executive session for the purpose of discussing the board's strategy regarding labor relations agreements with employees under the provisions of Title I, Section 313A1, capital B of Vermont statutes, labor relations agreements with employees.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion? All right, all those in favor? Okay. Any opposed? Okay, we're going into executive session. So we're gonna leave